Our next guest is a legendary musician and one of the most important female artists of all time. And for more than 4 decades, she's been marching to the beat of her own drum.
And she's not slowing down anytime soon.
Thank goodness.
Here to tell us about her new album, her upcoming autobiography, and her amazing career in music is the one and only Shelia E. Welcome, welcome. Hey.
Okay, I had a religious experience to glamorous life on the dance floor just last night, and that's not the first time.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
D Nice, the DJ, put it on, and the floor went crazy.
Yay.
And all you saw were my arms just flailing.
That's what I do when I start playing. Same thing.
Did you have any idea that that song would become a classic?
Oh, no, not even. When I recorded the record, I went to Europe and I started touring there first. And we spent about 2 months pushing the record. And when I came back to the States 2 months later, I hadn't heard it on the radio yet. When I came back, I heard it on the radio and I was like, I have a song on the radio. And everywhere I went, they were playing it in all the clubs. Yes. It was amazing. It was so great to hear it, yeah. I still play it. I played it again last night.
Yeah. So did I.
Well, speaking of the radio, what about the opening chords? I mean, that is amazing as well. Do you remember the first time you heard that one? What was your reaction when you heard it first time on the radio?
Yeah, the first time, well, that's a story in my book, but I'll tell you now. The first time I heard my song on the radio, I was on Sunset Boulevard in Los Angeles. I was making a left to go to this store or deli that everyone went to. I was making a left and the song was on the radio. I had a Mercedes, red Mercedes, the top was down. I was like, oh my God, my song. And I made a left and no. Right when the song was playing on the radio, it was the lane where people were supposed to park their cars, but the lane was open, which no one, you couldn't see, there was traffic, and the guy hit me and I was like, oh my God, are you okay? This is my song on the radio. Then I called my guy and I said, can you bring me a black Mercedes? Get over here, my car. Oh my God.
I gave you an amazing story though. Great memory.
Can I just see your hands? Because they're so legendary. When did you first pick up the drumsticks? And when did you know that you had something special?
Well, I learned by watching my dad play. He's a percussionist and playing timbales and congas. So just like this table was here, there were drums all over the house. And we'd use it as TV trays or that we'd play and then, you know, go outside. So I really learned by watching him play. So if I'm looking at you and I'm looking at my dad, whatever his right hand would do, my left hand would do, and vice versa. So if I watched him play, I would play on my lap, and then I'd sit down and play. So he was a right-handed player. But when I sat on the drums, because it was a mirror image, I sat and I played left-handed on a right hand. So everything I do is backwards. It's not the norm, but that's, I learned by looking like this and watching him and listening. I've never taken a lesson.
Really?
And my first performance, I was 5 years old with my dad. And I really was, I was into running track. I was an athlete. My mom is an athlete, so I got that from her. And I was running track, sprint runner, and I wanted to be in the Olympics. So I was training to be in the Olympics, running. And I played this one show with my dad at 15. And when I played that show, I had no idea that, I didn't know I knew that much, and he didn't either. And it was just probably a spiritual moment that we both started crying, and at the end I just said, I'm going out on tour with you. He's like, oh my God. So that, yeah, that's basically how it started.
Wow.
Really? Why aren't there more female drummers, do you think?
Why are there?
Why aren't there more?
There are now. There's tons of female drummers, percussionists. I mean, really, there are a lot of them now.
But
tons.
It's still like largely associated. It's still very male-dominated. It's gotten better since you came in the game, since you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you did pave the way, but how hard was it for you? How difficult was it when you were coming up? Because then you were playing drums better than most of the men out there doing it.
Well, no, I'm just kidding.
Come on, don't be modest.
No, I'm just kidding. No, you know what? It was challenging when I first started playing, and especially I was playing congas and percussion. And so if I was coming into a situation with another artist, there was a drummer. And then there was always a little bit of conflict, and they would always say, you know, kind of rude things, or, you know, why are you here? Or you are only here because you know some so-and-so, and so you're probably going to not be here long, you're not going to last long, blah, 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 those kinds of things. But I thought it was a little bit strange to be so rude, because I really loved playing. I loved music so much, and it's like, why would you discourage someone to in that way where you really should encourage them, you know. And I talked to my parents about it, and they just said, keep doing what you're doing and stay focused, learn, be prepared when you walk into the situation, know what you have to do, learn your music, smile, you know, be on time, all of those things, and you'll continue to do great things.
Wow. Okay, let's talk about the new album, Icon.
Yes.
It's the first one in well over a decade, is that correct?
Yeah, about 14 years or so.
Where have you been, Shelia E?
I've been everywhere. That's the thing, is I've been so busy, I didn't even know it had been that long since I've done a record. So I was the record came about because I was writing my autobiography, and I realized that there were songs that should be in the book, as well as stories that I was talking about in the book should be written as a song, and that's how the CD came about. And so I went back to Oakland, where I was born and raised, and recorded the album with my band, and we did all the tracks in about 3 days, and then I took it home and overdubbed vocals and things like that. But most of it's all live. We just cut it live.
Wow, 3 days. Yeah. Is that pretty fast, the turnaround time for an album?
Yeah, probably.
That's guerrilla style.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what's the...
Some people 3 years.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
So what's the sound we'll hear on this one? Is it old school meets new school, what?
Yeah.
Okay, tell us more.
No, it's a little bit of everything. It's when I first signed to Warner Brothers back in the day in the 80s, back in the day, they wanted to put you in a category so that they could put you in a bin in the stores to say you were an R&B artist or a pop artist. That kind of really doesn't exist anymore. It doesn't apply, which is great, because that was my conflict with the record company in the beginning. Was I'm an artist who I listen to and play all different genres of music. Where I was born and raised in Oakland, when we listened, my dad was with Santana. We listened to Grateful Dead, Sly and the Family Stone. I mean, Larry Grant. All these people were either they were friends of ours. We'd go and listen to them practice, and we were there with music like that every single day. So all of the music, to me, I was a big pot of gumbo. You just put everything in there, and that's who I am as an artist. But they wouldn't allow me to do that. So what I did was I started my own company, Stiletto Flats Music, and I said, I'm going to put out my record, get a distribution, and distribute it all over the world, which is what we're doing. And now you'll hear on this record all different genres of music. It starts with a conga solo. That all my solos on the album actually were I just did one take. There were no overdubs, no punch-ins, nothing.
You're kidding.
Because I play live. This is what I do for a living. If I was playing on a show, I wouldn't stop if I messed up and said, excuse me, let me do it again.
That's true.
So I just did everything live, and just one take.
Walk us through your musical process. How do you go from inspiration to the final product?
It's always different. It could be a word, it could be a thought, something that someone had said to me. A lot of this on this record is a little bit more personable because it came from the book, and I didn't realize that I had written some of the songs that were actually ready to be put, you know, on tape or on vinyl or digital. And so I ended up, you know, sometimes one idea would come from a drum beat, one was from a story, and I realized that once I put it all together, I wanted to call it Who I Am Now, because it had been since a long time since I'd had a record out, and I think people go back to just remembering the glamorous life, and that's it. But I've changed and evolved, thank God. And the fans came up with the title Icon. Yeah.
Because that's what you are.
Right, you are an
That
icon.
is what you are, an icon.
But you're also collaborating with some other artists like Lettucey, MC Light. What was it like working with them, and who else can we expect on this album?
Right there on Fiesta, that's B. Slade. My family's on the videos, as well as Prince, Lettucey, yeah, MC Light. And we had just a great time working with them. I mean, they're all my friends, so it's a little bit, you know, yeah, you can't help but
We're just bopping to it.
Got a little bounce.
Right. That's it. That's it. And we shot that video in Oakland, and my brother was the director on the video. So it's all about family and friends. We have a great time.